Hi, boys and girls. And here I am in the lair. And I've got my shop buddy Berwin. Hi! Oh, whoa, something fell down. Oh, that was my bag. Anyway, we're going to do something today that, well, we're kind of familiar with, but I figure this would still be a good idea to do this and show you what we're doing here. We're going to be working on another tube Trans Oceanic. And this time it's a B600, which was the latter of the tube runs. It was the last model made before they just did away with it altogether. And a little interesting story behind it. All right, so this is going to be the recipient of solder parts and labor here. This is 50. They made these. This is a B600 made from 59 to 61, and this was the last run till they just made the transistor-only radios, and got this little patch here. It looks like it's old tape or something like that, but I have more handles in the worst-case scenario. Let's see what this says. This says, get it out of the, oh, this is just too bright. Let me turn this down a little bit. There we go. I could actually adjust the thing. Okay, it says works. Stiff tuning. Whoa. Wow. I mean, it had too much to drink when it was being used the last time. So, here, let's open it up and see what this looks like. Well, looks like the plastic front bezel is in really good shape. There's no, I don't see any stress fractures or cracks. Nobody over tightened the screws on this. When that happens, these things have a tendency to crack. That's in good shape. This is spring action work on the dial light. Yeah. So we'll do a dial light mod to take a D battery for that. And other than that, the front seems to be very presentational. Let's see if this is okay. This is intact. It got a locks and charts book and looks like in good condition. We have the locking mechanism is there to hold that down. So so far so good. Let's see if this guy has a clip on it. Yes, it does, and it pops right up too. A little bit on the stiff side, but we can free that up and even make that a little bit better. I know how to do that, and I'll share that with you. So okay. Now here's the backstory to this. The owner of this is a friend of mine, and he said if I could go through this. Now, he told me that this radio works along with the three others that he gave me, and that's kind of like the agreement we came to. He says if I could go through this and make this kind of a peak, get it to peak performance, in lieu of passing cash. Because unless you live in a cave or something right now, you know that money is extremely tight in this economy right now, at least here in the U.S. I can keep the other three. So I agreed to that, and we're gonna make this a winner. We're gonna make this hopefully a playable, reliable radio for many years to come. So let's get into it. All right, the inside of the chassis is a little bit dusty, but looks like it's all there. The only thing you can't see, obviously, because behind the wheel, let me see how good the spring is on here. Oh, tension's not bad on the cord reel. This is your 120 volt cord reel here. But behind here is a 50A1 ballast tube. But you really can't see that unless I take this off. So I think what I'd like to do is, just for the sake of serviceability, because I really need to go through this whole thing, is we're going to just take the whole chassis out, and then we'll test the radio and everything out of the chassis. And what I think I'll do first is I want to verify the radio is working, and I'm going to put my battery pack on here and try to power this off of batteries first. Then if I know it's functional and heterodyning and trying to pull in the signal, at that point I'll see what I could do and see the condition of the selenium rectifier under monitored conditions with my my Variac. So let me take this out, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so there's a number of ways you can take this chassis out. I prefer to, I haven't done this yet, but this doesn't have to be in a particular order. The bezel really should be removed from the front of the radio, and then this will allow you to take the radio out through the front this way. You just come out the front of the radio. I'm in the back of the radio. But I've also elected to remove the antenna, which you don't necessarily have to do, but I want to do it because I think it'd be easier for me to service and straighten the antenna before I put it back on. So I've elected to take that off. And also, while I'm still back here, up in here, let me see if I can get the light in here a little bit better. And do I have a pointer? I don't have a pointer. Well, here's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to improvise. I'm going to use this little screwdriver here. And you see where the point of the screwdriver is right here? That's your dial light. And that slides on this little clippy thing here. So you want to definitely remove this, because when you go to pull the chassis out through the front, otherwise that's going to come right along with it. So, and the wires for the dial light actually wrap up and around over the top of the band switch housing. Okay, I don't know how well that's coming through on the picture, but that's what you need to do. So now we'll take the bezel off and we'll pull this out through the front. Oh, and by the way, if you do remove the antenna, these two nuts right here, which hold the antenna bracket and antenna to the radio, they're 1/4 inch. So since the studs are kind of deep on here, a conventional 1/4 inch socket may or may not work, but I think a deep socket is in order. That will make your life a little easier. That's a 1/4 inch deep socket. Okay, I've taken a collection. This is everything that's come off the radio while I didn't have the camera on. And as you can see, the bezel has now been removed and off the radio. But just to review everything I did was I basically undid that nut and washer off the headphone jack and pulled that out. And then, of course, after I moved the bezel out of the way, I put the nut and washer back on there, so it's there. This is your dial light. 2 small machine screws that hold that on there they have a Phillips type head. Okay, they're gone. There are 7 holes and fasteners that hold the front bezel on. If you look toward the top here, there's 4 holes, 4 screws that hold the top of the bezel on. They're a little bit on the long side. And then there are 3 down here. Get a good angle. There's 1. There's the second one in the middle there. And the third. They're all on the short side. So once you get it to that point, the radio should come out. Now, that being said, don't forget, you have the dial light. This is the dial light wire right here, which runs down to this switch. So these wires, you have to be careful. You got to carefully pull this out without stretching the wire or doing anything silly. And also, you've got the electric plug to contend with, which is still on the radio. So now the chassis is ready to come out, and I'm not going to put this on a tripod and show you my struggle getting this out, but it should come out relatively easy. And this is what you're going to end up with. You just get end up with a empty hole. Oh, look at this. Inspected by HG. I don't know who HG is, but you take from there. There's the tube chart. And now this is out, so let's see what's going on here with the 50A1. Uh-oh, look at this. Somebody took out the 50A1 and added a resistor. Now that's actually okay, but it depends on the resistance. So we'll have to figure that out after we put this on the Variac. So right now, let me get the light on here so we can see this better. My mental game plan is we're going to try this on batteries first. Like I said, to verify the functionality of the radio, if it works or not. Then we'll actually put it on a Variac with an isolation transformer and see what it does on AC. Been a little while since I've used my battery pack, so I think this is a time to check this out before I actually plug it into the radio. Oh, A side's perfect, 9.26. That's no load, of course. Let's see what the 90 is. Wow, that's pretty good, 90.8. All right, so we can put this on the radio and it should be okay. We know the batteries are good. Okay, for the magic moment, is it going to work the way it is? I got the batteries. Oh wait a minute, yeah, I got the plug in the socket on the side too. So. Let me turn off the LED light here.
Well, you can't always tell from looking. Judges have told me that. They look at some people, they're getting on the train, and this is going to be the worst juror. This is going to be the most biased. And it turns out they're the best juror, so you can't.
Iranian men from great. Analyst Thane Rosenbaum, great as always to have you here. WCBS News Time 10:18. Let's update this traffic and weather.
I do have the volume all the way up.
Sponsored by RTK.
Maybe I've got the antenna facing the wrong way.
So the only thing that gets by are the left lane and the HOV lane there on the eastbound side.
So
the westbound side's heavy.
Take the
from
antenna.
At least Contra Avenue. It's all rubbernecking there. We've had trouble on Sunrise Highway, both ways at Pond Road.
Okay, so this is good. We know that it's going to work off the battery. Let's see what happens when we plug it in. All right, so this was what was in the 50A1 socket. What you have here are two 700 ohm resistors connected in series across pins 2 and 7 of the 50A1, which if you go back to the schematic, here's the 50A1 tube, and then you can see that it's one side of it's going to the 20 microfarad cap and then directly to ground. So what they did here was they used this 1400 ohm resistor, which is probably okay. But also I see that we're still using the original selenium rectifier is still intact. So that's probably a no-no. In respect that it's probably too low of a voltage. But then also, you see this diode that's here? I think that's kind of interesting. Well, that's on pin 1. It's coming off of pin 2. And then coming around to here to pin 8. And then they're using 8 as a tie point. Then they got this white wire going up and around. And then back down to the ground of the radio here. So this is just kind of oddball arrangement. So we're going to lose that diode and we're going to take that wire out of there. And I'm sure somewhere in my pile I've got a 50A1, and then we'll put that in there and then give it another whirl. Okay, we've since removed the modification to the 50A1 and added a real 50A1 ballast tube in here. Hopefully it won't hum, it'll play something, and if it does hum and play, I'm willing to accept that, because then I know it's just a matter of getting filters and checking all the resistors and caps. So let's see what happens. I'm turned on. Let me just start bringing it up. I'll just hold the camera by hand as I bring this guy up. All right, I don't know how well you can see the needle. There's 50 volts right there. It's coming up, 60, 70. Uh-oh. That's a hum. Well, all right, let's see if the hum gets louder. It's 80 volts, 90 volts, 100 volts. Yeah, but now I'm hearing Okay, so we had a station at 100 volts. So I guess from here we can start addressing some caps and maybe a selenium rectifier here. Let me show you, let's see, maybe I should just end this video here, and then we'll pick up on the next installment. So we know that there's hope on the radio. So next video is probably going to be selenium rectifier, caps, and well, see what else, what other goodies we can find here. We're going to have to probably check the, have to lube up all the moving parts to the dial pointer and the bread slicer, and see what else, see what other kind of trouble we can get into here. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Please give a thumbs up, and remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye!